And welcome to hopefully a really quick episode of Friday Night Knits. I just wanted to log on really quick just to say a quick hello. How many times am I going to say quick, right? And one, I'm wearing one of my knits, like, yay. It's for, I want to say about the last 3 weeks, I've been making sure that every day I'm wearing something I've knitted, whether it's a pair of socks, a sweater, a cardigan, I have to wear my handmaids because I really love the items that I have made with my own hands, and I feel so proud of myself. So anywho, I really wanted to share with you, I have a couple of finished objects. The first one being my coffee break socks. This is a pattern by Stone Knits. I fell in love with the pattern as soon as I saw it on Fruity Knitting's episode. I don't remember which episode number it was, but nevertheless, Andrea and Madeline interviewed Stone Knits, and Madeline had made a pair of the socks, and I saw it. I was like, I have to make one of those socks, or a pair of those socks, and I just went ahead and cast on. Finally, it took about a year or so for me to finally get this on the needles, but I'm so happy. The first sock came out exactly the way I had envisioned. I decided to do the little blue teacups because I wanted it to really just to like pop out, and it came out excellent. It fits perfectly, and it really allows the variegated colors in the yarn to showcase. This is the Italian yarn I got from Rhinebeck. The details about the yarn will be in the show notes as well as on my Ravelry. I did the toe also in the same color. I started out doing a wedge heel, a wedge toe, but then I don't know why. I was watching Stranger Things, so who knows? But for whatever reason, I decided to switch over to a round toe. So that's the reason why the toe looks like this. I got to fix my hair. Hang on. Look at me. But anywho, so that's what I did with the toe. And for this sock, what was I watching? I think I was watching either a movie or a podcast. Something was really engaging and getting my attention, and I completely forgot to change colors. And so not only did I forget to change colors, I forgot that I made a slight modification in a pattern that allowed me to make the teacups look a little bit more like teacups. And so as you can see in the second sock, it's not looking too much like a teacup. I can always duplicate stitch over it. I'm probably not. It's a pair of socks. It's not that serious. It's still really cute and pretty, and I'm going to wear them. What else can I tell you? Did the same thing with the toe. Again, forgot because of whatever I was doing, I was more engaged with that than the socks. So I ended up using the same yarn for the heel instead of using a different color, which is perfectly fine. I did not do the heel flap and gusset because it's not really my favorite heel, and I don't find it to fit as naturally as some people have proclaimed. It's just not a good heel for me, but the shadow wrap heel has consistently been a heel that fits very comfortably on my foot, and that's what I'm going to continue to use. So this is my first finished object. I do have a second finished object that I would like to share with you as well. Let me just grab my second finished object I wanted to tell you all about. So this is a test knit for Veronika Lindberg. The test knit details, or the finished object I should say, is due on March 8th. So finished plenty of time. It was very fast. It could be because of the yarn or the size needles that were used. Who knows? I just know that I flew through it. I was watching a Netflix series called His and Her, and that's what got me through the sleeves. So what I did differently with this particular test knit than I have in the past is that I followed the pattern exactly, except for the body length and the sleeve length. So typically when I do a test knit, I try to follow exactly as the designer has intended in order to ensure that I meet the expectations. So unless I get permission ahead of time. So for example, the collar, I decided that I wanted to do this turquoise. I don't know, it's because I'm taking a different stairwell at work. Who knows? All I know is I keep using turquoise in as many objects as possible, and I'm loving it. So I did this little strip of color just to break it up. I didn't want it to be so monotone, and I did it here too. All I did was the ribbing, and then when I got to the part where I knew I was going to fold over, that's where I wanted it to show, and I really am glad I did that. It came out so cute. So I also messed up because, again, watching TV or listening to an audiobook where I was just like, ooh, and I'm like, oops. You know how you think you know how to do a decrease and then you realize you don't? That's what happened here. So for this collar, your expectation is to do a CDD, I think that's what it's called, which is basically you slip the first 2 stitches, you knit into the 3rd stitch, and then you bring the 2 stitches that you slipped back over to the knit that you had stitched. All I know is that I was looking at something and then I thought I knew what I was doing. I didn't. And so, unfortunately, I made this mistake here and I am paying the price for it. Not really, though. It's not as noticeable. I'm going to bring this a little closer so you can see. I still think it's pretty, I don't know. I love it. I think it came out well. So well, in fact, I've been wearing the heck out of this. And as you can see, I already have some early stages of peeling, which is totally fine with me. That just means that it's well loved. Because when I say I've been wearing this thing, I slept in it. I have worn it to work. I've worn it out on a play date. I've worn it out to dinner. Like, I've been wearing the heck out of it. In fact, I wore it on Monday. That's the reason why I had to go find it, because I did a steam cleaning of it, and I will peel it when the summer starts, but we're still in the winter. As a matter of fact, we got snow yesterday, so I'm enjoying this. I'm sorry I'm talking so fast. I'm a little like hyped up. I ate a protein bar, so it's got my energy going, so apologies. What else can I say about this? Very, very simple knit. If you, again, she writes really lovely, simple garment patterns. And so definitely would recommend this again for a beginner. A lot of her patterns are definitely beginner friendly. They're sophisticated. They're easy to catch on. For our design, for this particular pattern, it looks like we did the trapezoid and then we picked up stitches in the front. We knitted to a specific point, we joined in around, and then you knit the rest of the body. I went ahead and did the full body. Like I said before, I extended it. I wanted to do the little rusty colors because I, again, was feeling the fat of my turquoise. It was just calling me the yarn. So I wanted to add a little pizzazz to it, which I'm glad I did. And I did the same thing with the sleeves. With the sleeve length that she was calling for in a pattern, I would have been about almost 3 inches too short for my arm length. And as much, I don't mind it. Like this is another sweater I made a couple of months ago. This is a petite knit pattern called the Aros sweater. And when I wet blocked it, it was to my wrist. But as I would have been wearing it, I've noticed that it tends to get to about 2 to almost 3 inches above my wrist. And that's fine, especially when I'm wearing like a collared shirt. But if I wanted just to wear the sweater, I find that I constantly have to tug at my sleeves, which it's, again, perfectly fine, but not exactly how I want to consistently wear my sweaters. And so when I know that I'm trying to make one of those cozy knits, something that I will see myself like putting it in between my hands when I'm walking around, I'm going to go out of my way to make sure that my sleeve length is at least 19 inches, if not 22. And so for these, for this sleeve, I stopped when I got to 17 inches, and then I did a 2.5 inch cuff. And so it's definitely the length that I want. I have worn it with the collared shirt, and it looked immaculate, and I've worn it obviously by itself as well. So I'm going to just put this right here. So that is my second finished object. My third finished object, I'm going to hopefully insert a picture of it. It is a handmade shawl. And I don't know why I said handmade. Everything is handmade. But it's my, what is the word I'm looking for? What is the word? Brain fart. Oh, it is my shawl that I made with my hand spun. So I went ahead and cast on the Simple Things shawl, and it came out really well. I kind of wanted, oh, it's letting me drag it. I didn't think it would let me. Here it is. On the wet block. It's still a little damp, which is the reason why I'm showing it to you like this instead of taking it off and showing it to you regular. So with this pattern, there were a couple of little like whoop missteps. So first misstep is the fact that I didn't read the pattern. I started off reading the pattern and following the directions exactly. And then when I realized that I was in the repeat section, I was like, oh yeah, I know what I need to do. I just need to increase every other row. That's not what the pattern had said. You increase once every 4 rows. So that was a oops, my bad moment. And I didn't realize that mistake until I get to this lovely green section over here. That's when I realized like, oh, I wasn't supposed to do rapid increases. So after that lovely little mistake, I decided to follow the pattern as is. But again, I just allowed myself to get distracted and just do things my own way. So there were a few instances where I was increasing and a few others when I was just knitting away and it's like, maybe I should increase. I don't really feel like it. So it did not come exactly the way the pattern was intended. The Simple Things is a wonderful beginner friendly shawl pattern. It's for free on Ravelry. It looks like it's been test knitted, and it's also in a few other languages other than English. So everyone has options out there. What else can I say about it? I definitely don't think you have to use the recommended yarn. You can use whatever you have in your collection that you are genuinely interested in. I would just say that select a needle size that really fits the fabric that you're trying to achieve. With this particular yarn that I used, there were some inconsistencies. There were instances where I had a little bit more thicker yarn, and then there were other instances where I had thin. And what I love so much about hand spun, especially when you're doing a texture stitch, it's really not as noticeable until like you look really up close, or if you just like if it's really egregious. And so far I only noticed like maybe 1 to 2 sections where it was pretty obvious that the quality of the yarn was a little different than the other section of it. But all in all, I'm really pleased with the pattern. I'm glad I cast that on. It is a great alternative to the Petite knit Sophie shawl, or the Sophie scarf. If you're looking for something a little different, or if you're someone who wants to take a break from knitting petite knit patterns, the Simple Things shawl or scarf, excuse me, is an excellent alternative, and it's free. So I definitely, and we all love free, definitely will recommend it. This particular pattern has definitely solidified my love for using my hand spun, and I can't wait. I don't know if you can see behind me. I have some hand spun going, or spinning going behind me, and I can't wait to sit back over there and get back into it. So the final thing I just wanted to share with you is the fact that I am currently down to 2 whips. Okay, I'm lying. I have 3. I have my imagination blanket, which is going to be ongoing. That's a year-long project that I probably won't be finished until the fall or early winter. So that project I don't really count as my active whips, but I only have 2 active whips right now. So I'm going to reach over and grab them. All right. My 2 active whips are the Rosy sweater. I went ahead and ordered 3 additional balls of yarn, which I still don't think I'm going to have enough, because this is where I'm at right now. I am doing my increase in the yoke. I have it on a small cable, so that's the reason why it looks a little smaller than what it is. But trust me, I'm still at gauge, both row gauge and stitch gauge. So this is amazing. The yarn is interesting. I'm going to do more of a detailed review about my experience with Cardiff Cashmere, but just really quick, it is very soft but very splitty, and it has knots in it. So far I've had 2 knots in 2 of my halos. For some people that doesn't bother them, for others that is a no deal. So just wanted to share that with folks as a little heads up that although very soft, definitely feels luxurious. Definitely can see myself using this garment. However, the yarn in itself is very splitty. Here, I'll show you. I don't know how easy you can see, like it is 4 seconds from falling apart. So the ply, it's not tightly spun at all. So it's very splitty, and there's a couple of knots in it. But oh my goodness, there's definitely a theme. But anywho, I'm enjoying this knit so far, so good. This is a pattern I'm making myself pay attention to. So rather than listening to an intense audiobook or watching a television show that is really engaging, or listening to my 9-year-old tell me a story about something that came into his mind, I am making myself really lock in when I'm working on it. So that way I'm not making mistakes, and then I'm consistent with the increasing, because I know the increase, if I do too many increases or too little increases, that's going to impact the colorwork section. So I'm not quite at the colorwork section, and hopefully the next time I come back online, you will see some colorwork with this. But this is my first active whip. And let me tell you about the second one. The second one is my zipper sweater. This is now actively back on the needles as well. So it's slow and steady. I know once I'm able to join in around, I'm going to fly right through this. But woo child, I really thought the slow part was going to be the collar, but this ended up going much faster than what I had anticipated. But this increase section going back and forth, I don't know why. It's it's taking me a little longer to do. I'm not using the original pattern that I had intended to. I'm using the men's light version because that's the one I purchased. And I had to adjust my needle size in order to get gauge. So I'm at row gauge and stitch gauge. I'm doing the size, I believe I'm doing the size 3. And so that way I can achieve the positive ease that I'm looking for. And I figured I can always continue to increase if it's not quite what I want. I definitely foresee this being a family garment. With the color choices that I'm using, plus the size I'm knitting, I can see myself and my sons, as well as my husband, taking full advantage of this. I'm just going to make sure I extend the sleeves with that. But all in all, I have only 2 active whips, and my goal for the month of March is not to cast on anything new until I get these 2 done. I really want to cast on the jaunty shawl. I also would love to cast on a pair of socks. The puffy socks are the next one in my queue that I'm like fantasizing about casting on using my K-pop demon dyed yarn. There's also some summer knits I want to start doing. The Colada tank by Sorry Norland as something I want to do. I would love to do another Veronika Lindberg tank top. She has a couple cute ones that I made last summer that I wear more often than I care to admit that I want to add to my wardrobe. I also want to knit a dress. For the last 2 summers, I made a dress, and it seems to be my thing, so I would like to do that again. And then there's also the Lakes pullover. I would like to join Andrea Mari's, another one of her make-alongs that she's doing, whether you can knit a shawl or a sweater. So I would like to do that too. I just don't know which sweater I want to do. But I can also do another shawl because I did purchase a few shawls, but I also purchased a few cardigans. So with that said, there's a lot that I want to do with my fingers. I just can't decide. So since I'm feeling a little indecisive about which project is the next project I'm going to cast on, I'm just going to focus on these 2. What I love so much about what I currently have on my needles, that one, this is color work. So this is totally going to give me the opportunity to give my brain a challenge. And what I love about this project is that there's some challenges to this too, but they come a little bit later with the installation of the zipper, for example. And so I'm really am excited that I have these 2. I'm bringing this one to work with me right now. And hopefully I will have another item to put on my needles, because I want to knit a pair of socks. I want to knit a pair of green socks. And not just because it's March, because the book I'm reading has this beautiful green cover to it. So I'm feeling influenced by the book. But yeah, that is it. So the last thing I wanted to leave you all with before I head over to dinner with a few friends is about inspiration. The reason why I wanted to jump on, one of the many reasons, was yes, to catch you up onto my knitting, but I also wanted to talk about the things that inspire us. There's so many wonderful moments in February, for example. Whenever we're doing Black History Month, we celebrate those moments of excellence. We also talk about some of the challenges and hardships and the ability to overcome those hardships. And the same thing happens, at least in my classroom, when we celebrate Women's History Month. So this month, being Women's History Month, for example, my students and I are going to be engaging in some hyper-focused opportunities to learn more about the role of women in the political arena, whether either as advocates or politicians or those who helped others achieve political opportunities. I am not just going to just talk about just 1 or 2 figures that were more well known, like Hillary Clinton. I'm going to make sure that I talk more about Shirley Chisholm, because unfortunately students don't know as much about her as they should. So that is my hope. Well, not my hope. That is what I'm doing. I already have my school year planned. But as I was finalizing some of the lessons I'm doing for this particular month, I was thinking about the things that inspired me for the world of crafting. We've all talked about, with either our friends or with ourselves, about how knitting or crochet or other forms of crafting has changed our lives and the positive impact that it's had. And for me, I know that when I first started crocheting, I did not know what I was doing. And I'm so grateful to my step grandmother who showed me how to crochet. She showed me the basic stitches, how to make a granny square. And then my mother picked up where she left off and to show me how to elongate the item I was making and just how to go into the single chain stitch, which I didn't understand what she was saying. So then my cousin Brenda picked up where my mom left off and showed me how to go into it and how to make make a double crochet. And with the knowledge that all three of those women gave me, they gave me the opportunity to improve upon a skill that has brought me so much joy. And then I will always have those memories of spending that quality time with them, hearing their various perspectives while they were teaching me how to crochet. Another woman who has influenced my crafting, who is no longer with us, her name was Sue. She was a co-worker of mine. I'm actually going to grab the item. Sorry, you had to see my butt. But she was a co-worker of mine when I was teaching at the first school I was at. And me being the person I am, I naturally took on more responsibilities than I needed to. So one of my jobs at the first school I taught at was, in addition to teaching, was being an assistant to the athletic director. So my job was to hire other staff members, referees, and security to come to whatever games that we were hosting at the varsity level. And Sue was one of the ticket sales person that I hired. And sometimes she helped me with crowd control. And one day she came early because she was watching the JV girls play, and we were chit chatting. And I was like, oh, well, I crochet. And she was like, well, this isn't crochet. And I'm like, I know. And we just had this lovely banter about it. And she showed me how to cast on. And she also made me this scarf. And I am very intentional about not wearing it because I don't want to mess it up, because this is the only thing I have of hers that she made for me. And so it's a really interesting design. It's, as you can see, it's this chain net lace. It's very beautiful. It's held up. I've been an educator for 17 years and I've had this for 15 years because it was my second year, I think. It was my second year where she gave this to me. So yeah, it was really, really nice. It still looks really pretty as well. And I should wear it more. I would be honoring her more if I were to wear it. I just don't want it to get messed up because, as you know, things snag on things, on your garments or whatnot. So that's my only reason why I hesitate to wear this. It's not because I don't love it, because it definitely keeps me warm and it's so soft still. I just love that. But anywho, Sue is a person of my inspiration. She inspired me to consider knitting, and then a few years later, many years later, I finally became a knitter. And so every time I'm knitting something, she's in the back of my mind. I think about her as well. And I'm grateful for her inspiration that she's giving me. And then the final person I would like to share about who has inspired my crafting journey is a woman who I met on a few occasions. I don't know intimately, but she is still a source of inspiration, and that is Tony Lipsy. I love her YouTube channel, TLY Crafts. I find it not only informative, but actually very entertaining. I learned about different yarns that are available, different ways to understand how to manipulate the fiber in order to make the garment or accessory that you're hoping to achieve. And so she is definitely one of those folks who every time I get a notification on YouTube saying that she is on, I'm like, yes, I'm there. I did her crochet academy the first year, and unfortunately my schedule has never allowed me to do it the second year, although I tried to join again. But I can honestly say I'm just so grateful for her YouTube channel because it really has taught me a lot. I learned so many different things about different techniques, and she introduced me to Tunisian crochet. I never knew what Tunisian crochet was. I saw the needles and I honestly thought it was just an elongated crochet hook. I did not know that it was in a specific technique that people were doing. So I was really, really inspired by her teaching, and it led me to crochet more items such as bags, animals, stuffies, blankets, sweaters, hats. Her YouTube channel is a reason why I can do all those different things now, including doing cables and lace, because although she doesn't have a tutorial for some of the stitches that I know how to do with crochet, her words were encouraging me to give this a try. Her words were encouraging me to allow myself to be a presence in a community that there's not as much representation of people who look like me there. And so I love her channel. I love her energy. And I'm so grateful that I get a chance to watch her at least once a month when she shares her insights. And so I would love to hear from you all in the comments. What inspires you? What, let me get the words out. What woman is out there that who is inspiring your crafting experience, or who has in the past inspired. It can be a pattern designer, it can be someone you know, but I would love for you to share that, because this is the month of sharing, the month of giving. And so maybe your words can inspire someone else to try out a different pattern, or try a different designer, or a different yarn too. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Friday Night Knits. And I look forward to sharing with you about my latest in my spinning journey, because y'all, it's been a journey, as well as some updates on these March Madness projects I'm going to get done this month. I'm going to get it done. Have a wonderful weekend or weekday, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.